The McKeon Funeral Home started well over 100 years ago. It was started by the McKeon family and ran for generations. In 1996, Edward Garrity, the husband of one of the McKeon's daughters, passed away. And in 2000, I purchased a funeral home from their family and brought their funeral home and legacy into my family. Interestingly, I became interested in the funeral home business while in college. I was actually going to school for accounting, possibly considering some aviation courses. And while I was working at a country club, a young funeral director saw my interest and invited me to come in and speak with him about funeral service. From there, I began taking courses and eventually did my residency in New York City. The McKeon Funeral Home has completely remodeled its facilities about 4 years ago. We are the most modern funeral home available in the Bronx. We have some of the largest viewing rooms. We have a children's play area, which no other funeral home in New York City offers. We have a parking lot that can hold about 25 to 30 cars. We also offer music selections that will be determined by the family. We can offer music selections either by the family bringing in an iPod or a CD, and we can play the person's music throughout the chapel and the funeral home. We also offer video tribute services, which certainly family can bring in videos of the person during their lifetime or still shots, and that can be played on a flat screen as well. The most important aspect of planning a funeral, I believe, should be your loved one's wishes. That should be paramount in planning a funeral. Secondly, should probably be cost and financial ability. That should probably be the second concern. And certainly all of the little aspects of planning a funeral, such as flowers, memorialization, videos, tributes, those type of things should all be concerns and should certainly be discussed. Our prices range certainly based on a family's budget. We try to keep a family's financial needs in consideration when planning a funeral. So there could be services that are just a couple of thousand or 10 or 15,000. So certainly the most important thing is what a family's budget is, and certainly we try to plan around a particular family's budget. As far as pre-planning, that is actually the best way to plan a funeral. Pre-planning takes place certainly prior to a death. The best part about pre-planning is you can get the person whose arrangements this is for, you can get them involved, you can discuss with them personally, because the best source of information is the person themselves. Pre-planning will start with an account with the New York State Funeral Directors Association and the New York Pre-Plan Association. That account needs to start with a minimum of $500, but after that deposit, you can actually deposit whatever you wish. I have people depositing funds in as little as $25 per month or hundreds of dollars per month, and again, that could be tailored to a person's budget. For caregivers that are financially unprepared, there certainly are options as far as types of services that are available. Once again, we try to tailor those services to a particular family's budget. But in some cases, a family just has no budget. In a case like that, the only real option would be Potter's Field. That is actually done by the City of New York, and a person can be buried in Potter's Field at no cost to the family. Social Security plays a very small role in the burial process. Most people have the misconception that Social Security actually will pay for your entire burial. This is completely untrue. Social Security only contributes $255 towards the cost of a funeral, and that $255 generally isn't even received until months after the burial or cremation. The most important aspect that we as funeral professionals play in someone's life during a time of loss is the fact that we are full service. We take care of everything for a family, from life insurance claims, veterans claims, Social Security claims, filing of all the legal paperwork, and obtaining certified copies of the death certificate. That is the most important thing, because most families have no idea what to do when a death occurs. So from beginning to end, we take care of everything for the family. I definitely see a lack of preparedness amongst people, and that lack of preparedness is growing in number over the years. Definitely people aren't purchasing life insurance anymore. They certainly aren't pre-planning as they once did just even a few years ago. So those things really need to start changing. We need to start educating people about the benefits of pre-need arrangements once again. But definitely there's a lack of preparedness, and in response to that, I think the McKeon Funeral Home once again tries to work with most people within their budgets. And at this point, that's the best we can do aside from education and hoping to bring people back to their, the benefits of pre-need arrangements. From the initial contact that the family makes with the funeral home steps into action, beginning with the gathering of data about the person, all of the vital statistic information. That information is going to appear on the death certificate, such as Social Security number, date of birth, mother and father's name, including mother's maiden name. All this information is vital for the actual death certificate. Certainly, from that point, we would move forward and pick up the deceased from the place of death, whether that be a home, nursing home, hospital, or a medical examiner's office. Transfer the deceased back to the funeral home, and then move forward with any type of preparations that the family selects, whether that just be embalming, topical disinfection, or maybe the family has selected a service that doesn't require any of those services. And again, the arrangement process would begin with the family selecting the various services and merchandise that the family wishes to procure, and from there we would begin arranging all those services with churches, cemeteries, maybe a pastor, a clergy person, flower arrangements, memorializations such as headstones. All of those things are a part of what we do, and we do that from beginning to end without delay, certainly because most people have services within just a few days. And then there are other families that actually wait weeks because they have family members that are in other countries or out of town that need to return for services. Once again, I think the best advice I can give a caregiver in preparing for the death of a loved one would be just that, preparing. Certainly pre-planning is a great option, but more importantly than pre-planning is really just discussing the wishes of the person you're making arrangements for. That too often just goes by the wayside with most people. Most people don't wish to discuss arrangements. And I think is the most important thing. Sit down with your family member, your loved one, and discuss what their wishes are. We at the McKeon Funeral Home are here 24 hours a day to answer any questions or concerns you may have. We have the most modern facilities available, and we invite you to either stop by and take a personal tour of our facility, or we invite you to go to our website, McKeonFuneralHome.com, where you can actually take a virtual tour of our facility. Our telephone number is 718-655-6464.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode of The Caregiver's Place on making final arrangements. You may be a caregiver watching this program who is faced with the task of taking care of a loved one with a terminal illness or who is dying. Many of us avoid the topic of death because it reminds us of our own mortality. We at The Caregiver's Place want you to make a promise, in the words of Tim McGraw, to live like you were dying. If you are a caregiver and you'd like to share your story with us, please give us a call or like us on Facebook or contact us on Twitter. And remember that even before you think to pray, God whispers, it's already done. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again here at The Caregiver's Place.